Well, the network ABC yesterday gave a platform to disgraced former television host Keith Olbermann, who claims rising gas prices are part of a big conspiracy to make President Obama look bad. Listen to this.
The lowest price in the last 6 years, the nadir of gas prices at the pump, was the day of this president's inauguration in 2009. There has to be some connection between that being the least busy political moment of a president's career, where you're not going to hurt him, you're not going to harm him that way, and the price of gas. There has to be an almost deliberate, or at least a side effect quality to that. There must be.
There has to be a connection. Time to bring out our panel. Elisabeth Meinecke is the deputy managing editor of Town Hall magazine in D.C. Tamara Holder is a Fox News contributor in Chicago, and Michael Maslansky is the CEO of Maslansky, Luntz & Partners. Elisabeth, let's start with you.
Well, honestly, the only conspiracy that I've heard to raise gas prices came from someone who's now in the Obama administration, Secretary Energy Stephen Chu, who made comments back in 2008 to that regard and actually had to backtrack on those. So you don't need conspiracy theories to explain this. It's really basically an issue of supply and demand, and if the U.S. is able to increase supply of oil in an area of the world that they control, that's going to help lower gas prices.
So, Tamara, help me here. I mean, I can't even unravel this logic he's got going here. So this is when the president would have been hurt the least, or what does he mean?
I don't know, Jerry. I'm trying to figure this out myself.
Yeah.
It's like this reverse birther conspiracy. I just think that maybe he's minimizing the Republicans, saying that people are that stupid that they're actually going to believe that President Obama has everything to do, or the Republicans have everything to do with this rise in gas prices. It's not that easy.
So, I think this is guilt by free association. Oil prices went up.
Free association.
Yeah, free association. People don't like Obama. Therefore, the people who don't like Obama made gas prices go up. I mean, Olbermann has proven that he's crazy. The fact that ABC has given him the platform to reinforce that proof seems kind of silly to me.
And nobody said a word to him. Everybody was like, oh, yeah, that's right. It was hysterical. All right, let's go on to another amusing story. General Motors planning to open 600 dealerships this year, but instead of creating new jobs here in the U.S. where they should be, the automaker plans to take them all to China. GM is even building its new Cadillac in China. Michael.
Well, there's a really interesting political issue here, right? Obama bails out GM, uses taxpayer dollars to give it to GM. GM takes the money, sends it to China. Now, Obama's been touting the GM bailout and will continue to do so during his re-election campaign. So now, does it get thrown on its head? I mean, I think he's open to a lot of attacks for this, because this money isn't going to come back to the States.
No. Tamara, what do you say?
Well, I agree. It's not going to come back to the States, but there's also not just a political issue, but there's an issue about just, the American spirit. We have a lot of large corporations, because of the whole Solyndra conspiracy, who are now borrowing money from the Bank of Tokyo for solar projects. So at what point do we come back to our home base here in America, regardless of what side you're on?
Elisabeth, how do you counter that?
Well, no, I mean, I agree. And I think another issue at play here is the reason why GM has to try to market the Cadillac in China is because they're worried that back in the United States, their pickup truck sales are going to decrease because of mileage standards being imposed by the U.S. government.
Well, I hate to see the Caddy be made overseas. That just doesn't make a bit of sense to me. Let's talk politics. Florida Senator Marco Rubio and former Florida Governor Jeb Bush endorsing each other for Romney's running mate. Rubio saying he'd turn down an offer and Jeb would, quote, be a fantastic vice president instead. Elisabeth, what do you say?
Well, I think Jeb Bush probably has a what's in a name problem here that'll probably keep him out of any VP selection. But, if I were Mitt Romney, I would definitely look at Marco Rubio. One thing you're looking at in a vice presidential candidate is someone who's really able to effectively communicate your strategies and your views as a presidential candidate. And there's no better communicator out there than Marco Rubio.
I don't think Bush is that bad of a choice. What do you say?
No, he's a good choice. But I think the first rule of VP Club is never let on that you want to be the VP. And so
there must be.
This is all about lowering expectations, because you never want to be made to seem like you want it. I think they're both going through this game. I think they would both consider it seriously. I think when Rubio says that he wouldn't consider it, he'd turn it down. That's something that he'll walk back.
Is that a stinky lie? It might be a... Tamara, what do you say?
I think they're both going like this because nobody wants that position right now. I mean, who really wants to run for president, regardless if you're Obama or Mitt Romney or anybody else? This is a really tough political climate, and they're both going to lose anyway.
But vice president, dream job because you get to go to all the events and you don't have any responsibilities. And there I just made fun of the vice presidency. Let's talk about Illinois, something else we can have a little fun with. Illinois Governor Pat Quinn coming up with a plan to rescue the state's $83 billion pension deficit. We talked a lot about this. Raise the retirement age from 55 to 67. Make teachers and state employees pay more towards their own retirement. Tamara, is this the right thing to do?
Well, you know, they're saying here in Illinois, as you know, I'm here, they're saying that this is just a, you know, a beginning step for this whole situation. I just read that there's like $600 million in pension backlog in payments. So it's a really big issue, and I don't know how we're going to solve it, but I think that 67 isn't necessarily a young age to retire.
It's not, but boy, 55 is certainly a young age.
Yeah, I would say if I'm the governor, I would talk to the rest of the taxpayers and say, look, we're in an environment now where most people don't get to retire when they're 55. A lot of them don't get to retire when they're 67. And those are the people that are paying the retirement benefits for the state teachers and other employees. If we want to be fair, if we want to do what's right, then they should be waiting longer. They should be working longer until they're allowed to retire.
Elizabeth.
I agree. I mean, you're not going to find people in the private sector usually who are able to retire at 55 with full benefits like these government employees are able to do. And so I think that these government employees also might need to look at who they're voting for in the next election and make sure they're not putting legislators in place who run up $83 billion state deficits and force these kind of changes.
All right. Well, you know, we just had a story today that they're talking about taxing our 401k and retirement accounts. So, hey, those people can work to 67 or 70. I don't feel bad about that. Elisabeth, Tamara, and Michael, thanks for coming on the show tonight. You guys did a great job. Thank you.